conceit and excitedness, the first, 2. The fourth trance. Friendliness, 2. Impartiality. The applications of mindfulness, 2. The unconditioned element. Therefore they are called holy. And because theirs is this Dharma Vinaya, therefore it is called the holy Dharma Vinaya. And why? Because all those dharmas are immaterial, undefinable, non-resisting, with one mark only, i.e., no mark. The immaterial is not conjoined with the immaterial, the non-resisting and the markless. This, Subhuti, is the immaterial, undefinable, non-resisting, one-marked, no-marked perfection of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, in which the bodhisattva, the great being, should train. And when he has trained in it, he does not apprehend the mark of any dharma whatever. The error with regard to the marks. Subhuti. One should, you say, O Lord, not train in the mark of form, or anything else. If one should not train in the marks of these dharmas, how? That will the bodhisattva, the great being, not having trained in the marks of all the dharmas, and in the marks of the conditioned factors, transcend the level of the disciples and pratyeka Buddhas? How, without having transcended the level of the disciples and pratyeka Buddhas, will he enter on a bodhisattva's special way of salvation? How, without having entered on a bodhisattva's special way of salvation, will he reach the knowledge of all modes? How, without having reached the knowledge of all modes, will he turn the wheel of Dharma? How, without having turned the wheel of Dharma, will he set beings free from samsara, by the vehicle of the disciples, the vehicle of the pratyeka Buddhas, or the great vehicle? The Lord. If any dharma had a mark, then the bodhisattva, the great being, should train in these marks. But because all dharmas are without marks, immaterial, undefinable, non-resisting, with one mark only, i.e., no mark, therefore the bodhisattva, the great being, should train neither in their marks nor in their no marks. And why? For it is not so that they were formerly without marks and that they got marks later on. But because formerly just as now these dharmas were without marks, therefore the bodhisattva, the great being, should not train in their marks or their no markses. And why? Whether the Tathagatas are produced or not, just so is this unmarked element established. The error with regard to the development. Subhuti. If all dharmas are without marks, without differentiating marks, how does, on the part of the bodhisattva, the great being, the development of perfect wisdom take place? Because, without having developed the perfection of wisdom, the bodhisattva, the great being, cannot transcend the level of the disciples and pratyeka Buddhas. And without having done so he cannot enter on the bodhisattva's special way of salvation. And without that he cannot produce the patient acceptance of dharmas which fail to be produced. And without that he cannot produce the superknowledges. And without them he cannot purify the Buddha field and mature beings. And without that he cannot reach the knowledge of all modes. And without that he cannot turn the wheel of Dharma. And without that he cannot establish beings in the fruits of a holy life, or in the foundations of meritorious action due to giving, morality, and meditational development. The Lord. So it is, Subhuti, so it is. Without marks, without differentiating marks are all dharmas. Subhuti. How can with regard to markless dharmas development in perfect wisdom take place? The Lord. A markless development is the bodhisattvas, the great beings, development of the perfection of wisdom. Subhuti. How then does a markless development of perfect wisdom take place? The Lord. An undevelopment of all dharmas is the development of perfect wisdom. Subhuti. What is the undevelopment of all dharmas? The Lord. The development of the undevelopment of form is the development of perfect wisdom. And so for the following categories: feeling, perception, impulses, consciousness. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Forms, sounds, smells, tastes, touchables, dharmas. Toiling and withdrawal. The four trances. friendliness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and impartiality. The station of endless space, 2. The station of neither perception nor non-perception. The recollection of the Buddha, of the Dharma, of the Sangha, of morality, of renunciation, of the deities, of agitation, of breathing in and out, of death, of what pertains to the body. The perception of impermanent, ill, not self, unlovely. Conditioned co-production. The perception of a self, a being, a living soul, a creature, a man, a young man, a personality, a person, a doer, an agent. The perception of permanence, ease, loveliness and self. The applications of mindfulness, the right efforts, bases of psychic power, faculties, powers, limbs of enlightenment, the Holy Eightfold Path. The concentration on emptiness, the signless, the wishless. The 8 emancipations, the 9 successive attainments. The concentration which is with both thought applied and thought discursive. The concentration which is without thought applied and merely thought discursive, the concentration without either thought applied or discursive. The holy truths of ill, origination, stopping, the path. The cognition of ill, origination, stopping, the path. The cognition of extinction. The cognition of non-production, the cognition of Dharma, the subsequent cognition, the cognition conforming to worldly convention, the cognition of mastery, the cognition of what really is. The 6 perfections. Inward emptiness. Outward emptiness. Inward and outward emptiness. The emptiness of emptiness. The great emptiness. The emptiness of ultimate reality. The conditioned emptiness. The unconditioned emptiness. The absolute emptiness. The emptiness without beginning and end. The emptiness of non-repudiation, the emptiness of essential nature, the emptiness of all dharmas, the emptiness of own marks, the emptiness of non-existence, the emptiness of own being, the emptiness of non-existence of own being. The 10 powers of a Tathagata, 2. The great compassion. The fruit of a streamwinner, 2. A development of. The undevelopment of the knowledge of all modes is the development of perfect wisdom. A development of the undevelopment of the forsaking of all the defilements and of the residues relating to them is the development of perfect wisdom. Subhuti. How is it that the development of the undevelopment of form, 2. Of the forsaking of all the defilements together with their residues, is the development of perfect wisdom? The Lord. Here, Subhuti, a bodhisattva, coursing in the perfection of wisdom, does not develop the notion that form is existence. And why? Because in anyone who has the notion of existence no development of the 6 perfections can take place, 2. No development of the knowledge of all modes. And why? Because when he is attached to existence he forms an attachment to giving, morality, patience, vigor, meditation, and wisdom. And one who is thus attached 35 can have no emancipation. One who has the notion of existence cannot have a development of the applications of mindfulness, 2. Of the knowledge of all modes. And why? Because he is attached to existence. Subhuti. What is existence, what non-existence? The Lord. Duality is existence, non-duality non-existence. Subhuti. What is duality? The Lord. The perception of form is duality, 2. The perception of a Buddha and of enlightenment, the perception of the conditioned element and the unconditioned element, 2. All perception and non-perception, that is duality. As far as there is duality, there is existence. As far as there is existence, there are the karma formations. As far as there are the karma formations, beings are not liberated from birth, decay, sickness, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and despair. Also by this method, Subhuti, should one know. One who perceives duality has no giving, morality, patience, vigor, meditation or wisdom. No path, attainment or reunion. He cannot even have adaptable patience, how much less a comprehension of form, 2. Of the knowledge of all modes. And one who has no development of the path, how can he have the fruit of a streamwinner? 2. How arhatship, how pratyeka Buddha enlightenment, how the forsaking of all the residues of the defilements. End chapter 69.